for these people.
All right, so should we get started?
I think so. You ready?
So, yeah. So, I will admit this segment is probably going to be a little bit long, only because I want to try and give, well, mostly for me, try and give context to everything that's going on in Haiti right now. So, I do want to give you guys like kind of a quick overview of what's happening. And then we're actually going to go into the article, that I pulled for this. So,
Okay.
so we're going to hear from Claire Daly, who is a member of the European Parliament,
I like her.
and she had this to say regarding Haiti. If you don't mind,
Hit and play for you.
hitting play for me, thank you.
Haiti is the site of the first and only successful slave revolution in history. Haitians won their independence from France in 1804 and immediately abolished slavery, becoming the first place in the world to do so. It was also the first state to outlaw racism in its constitution. Haiti was a beacon of light for the world, and it was punished for it. It was punished over and over again by France, by the US, through a series of coups, invasions, occupations, assassinations, through relentless meddling and crushing debt. They were determined that this beacon of freedom would be extinguished because it presented a bold challenge to the dread logic of capital and empire. But the Haitian people kept fighting through. Theirs is a light that never goes out. And so, it's still being punished. The meddling goes on. If Haiti is a mess, and it is, then Europe and the US are to blame. If we want to support the Haitian people, and we should, we'll stand up to the US, the world's bully, tell them to get out of Haiti and get out of it ourselves.
Okay, so as Rick said very eloquently, be a Claire Daly, not an AOC. Imagine if she said rhetoric like this.
Yeah.
Or any one of the squad or any Democrat in Congress, regarding anywhere else in the world, like I'm sure like Ukraine will probably is getting a lot of love, but not these other countries. So just giving you an overall context, just as far as Haiti. So now we're going to turn to Amy Goodman from Democracy Now! To talk more specifically what's happening in Haiti right now, just to kind of catch up a little bit in terms of what is happening there. This is going to be long. I will warn you, this is going to be about 10 minutes, but I think it's important for us to hear Amy interview this person. I can't remember her name right now. I'm sorry. In terms of what's happening to Haiti from her perspective. And I think that'll give you a better clarification as to the article that I'm going to read after this. So you can play it.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman in New York, joined by Democracy Now! Co-host Juan Gonzalez in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Hi, Juan.
Hi, Amy, and welcome to all of our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.
Well, we begin today's show looking at the crisis in Haiti, where protesters continue to demand the resignation of the U.S.-backed Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, and against the deployment of international troops to Haiti amidst a growing humanitarian crisis. A blockade of a key port in Port-au-Prince, the capital, by gangs has led to a critical shortage of fuel, food, and water for millions of people. Meanwhile, Haiti's fighting a new outbreak of cholera. On Monday, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for a, quote, armed action to reopen the port.
It's an absolutely nightmarish situation for the population of Haiti, especially Port-au-Prince. I believe that we need not only to strengthen the police, strengthening it with training, with equipment, with a number of other measures, but that in the present circumstances, we need an armed action to release the port and to allow for a humanitarian corridor to be established.
On Monday, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, pushed for the UN Security Council to authorize a non-UN international security mission to go to Haiti.
The second resolution we're working on would authorize a non-UN international security assistance mission to help improve the security situation and enable the flow of desperately needed humanitarian aid.
But in the streets of Haiti, many protesters have condemned the United States for pushing to intervene again in Haiti. Protesters are also demanding the resignation of Ariel Henry, who has ruled since the assassination of Jovenel Moïse on July 7, 2021. This is former Haitian senator and presidential candidate Moïse Jean-Charles.
Freedom. We are not in the states of the United States. We are not provinces of the United States. We are a country. We are a republic. They cannot give us orders. This time we do not need them. If Ariel Henry does not resign and the bank officials don't change their minds, we will make a revolution in the country.
We're joined now by Guerline Joseph. She is co-founder and executive director of Haitian Bridge Alliance, which advocates for humanitarian assistance to Haitians and other Black immigrants from the Caribbean and Africa. Today, she's joining us from Mexico City, where she's looking into the impacts of the Title 42 pandemic Trump-era policy that's been used to block at least 2 million migrants, including tens of thousands of Haitians, from applying for asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border. The Biden administration recently expanded Title 42 to begin expelling Venezuelan nationals. Guerline Joseph, welcome back to Democracy Now! Before we move to what's happening at the border, let's talk about what's happening in Haiti right now. You have the reports that chaos is engulfing the country, that it's become so total, the social fabric is so torn that the country is on the verge of collapse. And then you have the UN Secretary General calling for military action. Can you respond to the protests and the response?
Good morning, Amy. Thank you so much for having us. What we are seeing in Haiti right now is extremely painful as a Haitian woman, as a Haitian American woman, to see how the country has been dipping into this abyss. And we have been in communications with civil societies in Haiti to understand what is needed on the ground. And they are telling us they need a Haitian-led solution in order for the country to get out of where we are right now. As you mentioned, Amy, rampant violence, gang violence, political turmoil, assassination of the president, still no answer. And we are seeing people really protesting on the street for the right to sovereign solution to the issues that are happening. And they are saying no to an invasion, no to armed invasion from the international community, because every time there is the so-called help invasion that people go to Haiti, result in chaos. You also mentioned the cholera pandemic that is in the rise right now, and that itself is a result of the UN being in Haiti after the earthquake. So we are seeing and hearing, and we are taking the time to understand what Haiti needs right now and how we move forward.
And Guerline Joseph, I wanted to ask you, we keep hearing about this gang violence that is rampant throughout Haiti, but there are some Haitians in the U.S. and as well as other radicals and socialists here in this country who say that all these gangs are not alike. For instance, that the FRG9, the Revolutionary Forces of the G9 family, led by Jimmy Cherizet, are much more political, and they're the ones that are dealing with this blockade of the port, whereas other gangs like the GPEP are actually part of work with the Ariel Henry government and the police, and the United States seems to be more focused on FRG9. Could you talk about whether there are differences between these gangs and what's your sense of how the narrative is being shaped here in the U.S.?
Absolutely. One thing I want to clarify is the fact that this gang pandemic, this great gang phenomenon, is not native to Haiti. It's imported to Haiti. We are not used to this type of violence when it comes to gang. This is a new system that is being put in place, or that has been put in place to destabilize the country. I do not know who is supporting which gang. I do not know which activity activities are being supported either by outside sources or people within the government. But what we are seeing right now is that people are fearful. We are seeing entire neighborhood being displaced in Martissant, in Croix-des-Bouquets, in Pétionville, where we never had any violence before, that we are seeing all places in the country dealing with gang violence. And again, it is imperative that we understand the narrative that's being shared is that Haiti has never had to deal with this level of gang violence. This is new. This is backed by many different other outside sources, and we must understand that we have to come to a resolve where we rid the country of violence so people don't have to flee. Right now, we are seeing people fleeing by boat, either going to Puerto Rico, to the Bahamas, to Miami, and they are dying on the way here. We are seeing people fleeing from Haiti, making their way to the border in Mexico because they cannot be at home. We are seeing the political turmoil, the gang violence that are being financed or supported by whomever, that are creating a space where people cannot survive. That is why when we speak to civil societies in Haiti, we understand that in order for us to move forward, there must be sustainability, there must be proper school, there must be proper hospital, there must be, the agriculture needs to be revived in order for people to be able to be safe at home and not have to flee.
Can you talk about the Montana Accords, what they are, and the group that developed them following the assassination of Haiti's former president in 2021?
I am not an expert of the Montana Accord, but what we understand is that over 500 groups, civil societies, political groups have come together to come up with a solution that is led by Haitians to be able to find a way moving forward. What we understand from the Montana Accord, it is the only alternative we have right now to really getting ourselves out of the political turmoil, possibly having a safe transition where then we can move to a better space in Haiti. So again, I am not an expert in the Montana Accord, but from understanding and speaking with many different groups and people who are involved, it seems to be a good alternative in order to move forward. But what we are seeing is that there's no real engagement between the Montana Accord parties, the international communities, people who wants to support Haiti and wants to be able to get a way out of the issues we are dealing right now. So we are calling on the international community, on the U.S. and Canada, to not side with with the political people in power, but to make sure that they are including the civil societies, the people of Haiti, who are able to take their future in hand and see how we can work together. At this point, we believe that Haiti needs support. Haiti needs to be stabilized. Haiti needs to have sustainable ecosystem so that people can live, people can prosper, not just survive, but thrive.
So you're in Mexico City looking at...
We good. So that was long. I apologize, kind of. But anything that struck out to you, Reef?
Couple of things. One, why are we the world's police?
Right.
Two, that lady blinked a lot.
That aside,
I mean, I
don't
feel
think
like
she might be used to the camera though, so that's probably
yes, but it seemed like she was trying to convey a message, and I just don't know Morse code. You know, like that's like, but she needs help, Collin. They're holding her. We need to go get her. But anyway, I mean, I think it was Jera in the chat that was asking about like whether it would be better allies than us. Mentioned Cuba.
Right.
I mean, you your family comes from the islands. What Have you heard anything from them about this situation, or you
Um,
know?
no, I haven't. Actually, it was my dad's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Dad. So,
Happy
I was
birthday.
supposed to call him today. But I do want to ask him about this, because
Mm.
he's actually heading back to Barbados this weekend. But I think a couple of things that struck out to me. Because I've heard this, murmurings on Twitter, like they're gangs, they're gangs, they're gangs. These gangs, for the most part, seem to be politically motivated in a way to kind of stir up trouble.
Mm.
So to give the US an excuse to be like, oh, we gotta come in. So, and as Joseph said, like, I feel a lot of it is due to the fact that the US has US-backed politicians in the country right now who are not necessarily working for the best interests of the people there. Sound familiar?
Yes.
So there seems as a very high disconnect between the politicians slash elite in the country versus everyone else. And I think basically Haitians are kind of like, we're seeing the bullshit and we're not going to stand for it. And this is why they're kind of revolting. So I want to kind of give that context in terms of why, the issues as to why the US is looking to intervene. But also just kind of thinking of history, just in what Claire Daly said, and I thought about this morning. I almost feel like for Haiti, this is kind of like perpetual punishment in a sense of like, this is the first predominantly Black country that basically whooped Europe's ass, and in the West, I think it's basically like, you're not going to do that again. Like, we're going to make your life a living hell, for like having these Negroes, basically upside, the French, slash the West. So I always feel like, Haiti's kind of paying the price, as always have, for rebelling against the West. And so I just kind of looking at history, and again, that's just, more speculation on my part, but I don't think that's far off the mark considering how often, the US now is like wanting to come in and support Haiti, quote unquote, but each time there's like more shit happening. So give you all of that context. Now we can get
hold on, let me look it
Yeah.
up before I move on. Human Love Solidarity says Biden wants Haitians to go to Gitmo, right? And our friend of the show, Misty Winston, aka at Sarcasm Stardust on Twitter, has been supporting. Who is it? I'm looking on her Twitter as we speak. Scroll. I'm looking for it. At Guantanamo Andy Worthington. If people would like to go find that on the Twitters for that. Here, I can pull this up. Hold on. You can do something along the lines of this, like Miss Misty has here. But yeah, that's at Guantanamo Andy. You should look up. But anyway, not to digress too far.
But anyway, so now you guys have the context. Let's get into the article. So hopefully it should make a lot more sense to you all. So written by probably one of our favorite reporters, Brett Wilkins from Common Dreams. Haitians, peace activists announce plans for another US-backed intervention. Haitians are saying no to armed invasion from the international community because every time there is so-called help invasion, it results in chaos, said one activist.
Okay. You went the wrong way.
Nope.
Yep.
I am.
There we go.
That's
oh, God.
As
Flies.
U.S. Secretary,
Go ahead.
Yeah, it I think when it stops for a while, it tends to go
It like
backwards.
gets upset with us.
Before, yeah,
You didn't love us enough.
yeah. As U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met Thursday in Ottawa to discuss a possible unilateral invasion of Haiti in the name of restoring stability, quote unquote. Haitians and anti-war voices denounced the prospect of yet another U.S.-backed intervention, which they say will bring the opposite of stability to a crisis-ridden nation. So this is their tweet here. If you want to go a little closer, I met with Justin Trudeau in Ottawa to discuss our shared priorities, from strengthening North American competitiveness to supporting Ukraine and Haiti. It is always a pleasure to speak about our close friendship and common values, even more so while on Canadian soil. So that's what Anthony Blinken said. And then Jay Pierre responded on Twitter, look up the Ottawa Initiative from 2003 to see how Canada, France, and the US decided to destroy Haitian sovereignty through a coup d'etat of Haiti's democratically elected president. So kind of, I hinted at this earlier, how, they have US-backed politicians who are running the country now that have, I think, supported in the demise of the country right now, or since.
Right.
The Biden administration is seeking the nation to lead a rapid employment international military force, an intervention backed by the United States Security Council and request by de facto Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry to quell the gang violence that has spiked since last year's presidential assassination, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake, and a hurricane that devastated much of the deeply impoverished nation. While some Haitians, especially elites, and U.S. corporate media push for armed intervention, other Haitians and peace activists have taken to the streets and to social media to condemn any new invasion. In a recent interview with Democracy Now!, Gerlene Youssef, the executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, said that Haitians are saying no to an invasion, no to armed invasion from the international community, because every time there is a so-called help invasion that people go to Haiti, it results in chaos.
For one, a help invasion. What?
Well, I think the biggest question is how. How do you deem how are you going to help Haiti? And stability doesn't cut it to me,
We're fucked.
Well, they are, but like, notice how they are just like, oh, we're going in the name of stability. And the same with Ukraine. Oh, we're going in the name of, we're supplying weapons in the name of arming, forces there to defend themselves from Russia, So, it's the idea of like, and honestly, I wish Haitians would kind of call this out a little bit more in terms of like, what kind of help what kind of help are you trying to seek? Because we know what the US does is like, whenever they go to a country, there's always, like a reason. And given their US-backed politicians, it makes sense that it's not necessarily for good reasons. More likely it isn't. And as I said, the populace there is not feeling it. So that's why there's protesting. And again, as I said, a lot of these gangs, I'm fairly certain, because I think Yosef kind of hinted at this, but I basically think these gangs are politically motivated by, the US government and the Haitian politicians there to kind of stir up shit.
So that they can go in and do that. Like,
right, in the guise of, oh, we'll help you with these gangs. That's what I'm kind of hearing from all of this, when really, as I said, it's more like for essentially like punishment, in terms of Haiti overthrowing France back.
I'm still, help invasion is insane.
Right. I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
So actually, I'm going to go to the next slide. So Madame Bookman, she tweeted out, US-style humanitarian intervention, it's like a massive blow to the spine. It has completely paralyzed Haiti's development. Haitians call for a localized Haitian solution based on the principles of self-determination, So as this guy says, we need a better country without the help of America. So that's what the locals are saying.
Yeah.
Maima Pierre, a social cultural anthropologist, UCLA professor and coordinator of the Black Alliance for Peace team on Haiti, said in a Wednesday interview on the progressive radio show Between the Lines that the Haitian people absolutely do not want foreign armed soldiers on the ground. Haiti has been invaded many times by the U.S. government, Pierre continued, and every single time it's been complete brutality, rape. And so the last thing people want is to have these soldiers going around with guns and tanks pointing at them, right? Each time the United States has invaded or backed intervention in Haiti, the only nation born from a successful slave revolt is assigned the restoration of order and stability as its pretext. The U.S., which has coveted Haitian territory since the 19th century, used civil unrest sparked by gruesome presidential assassination to justify a 1915 invasion and subsequent 19-year occupation. U.S. Marines wrote time at the end of the occupation, landed at Port-au-Prince, and began forcibly soothing everybody. Thousands of Haitians who resisted and were killed. Rape of Haitian women and children by U.S. troops ran rampant and went unpunished. Occupation forces implemented forced labor, Jim Crow segregation, and oversaw the looting of the country's finances and resources for the benefit of Wall Street banks and investors. All the while, U.S. politicians and press hailed what they called America's civilizing mission. The U.S. will occupy Haiti until 1934. In the decades that followed, successful administrations in Washington supported Haitian dictators, including the brutal Duvalier dynasty. Democracy was finally restored in the 1990 election of then priest but progressive populist Jean-Bertrand Aristide, but then a year later he was ousted in a military coup whose plotter included CIA operatives. Ooh, this. Ooh.
What the fuck?
Like,
sounds like Brazil.
The effing F? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, notice the similarities between Haiti and Brazil.
yeah.
Because isn't this what happened to Lula, basically?
Well, and I mean, we can go back to the Saint Denis. Like, how far do we need to go back here? Oliver North? Like,
right.
You know, the Spanish-American War? We're going to remember the Maine real quick? Like, this is... I want to read that to people, like, forcibly soothing, for one.
Right.
The fuck is that?
Right.
Two, like, rape of Haitian women and children by U.S. troops ran rampant. Like, not just like it happened. Like, was rampant.
Right.
And we're doing it again, pretty much.
Right. Right.
Holy shit. Okay.
Right. So, yeah. This is the country that we live in, folks.
Yay.
But anyway, so remember this, Jem? I think we've forgotten about this. I didn't. But if you want to play this clip, we'll see what our boy Biden has.
I don't want to, but I will.
I'm sure people would have heard this before, but
yeah,
you know, but you can play it and just refresh our memory as to what he has said regarding Haiti.
If Haiti, a god-awful thing to say, if Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot in terms of our...
What do you mean? What do you mean? If it did rise up 300, it absolutely would. That would be a ridiculous story if it just rose out of the water.
Play it again, please.
Yes, sir.
If Haiti, a god-awful thing to say, if Haiti just quietly sunk...
Which he recognizes that it's an awful thing to say, first and foremost. Right. Like, and then says it.
Sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot in terms of our...
In terms of our infrastructure.
Right. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't matter a whole lot. So if you're saying this, then Biden, why the hell are you why is the U.S. trying to infiltrate? If Haiti doesn't matter to you that much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If it don't matter to you, why you
bothered?
Why you worried?
Get out.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it. Get the
I think
fuck
thou
out.
doth protest too much, sir.
Right.
But
if Haiti,
no. So then President Bill Clinton did not agree. And that year, his administration secured the United Nations Security Council authorization to stage a US-led invasion to restore democracy to Haiti. Clinton sent 25,000 troops on a nation-building mission, and Aristide was returned to the Palais National. 10 years later, he was ousted in another US-backed coup. So basically, the guy who essentially stabilized the country, who was a progressive populist. I wouldn't say he was communist, but definitely like in the line of kind of like a social dem, like probably like Bernie.
Yeah.
You know, was ousted because my guess is he actually wanted to help Haitians, the working class. And so like, especially with the US ties to Wall Street, they're like, oh no, we can't have that, So very easy to remove him, basically. When UN troops deployed to Haiti following a devastating 2010 earthquake, they brought more than the stability they were tasked with maintaining. A cholera epidemic traced back to Nepalese UN peacemakers infected more than 800,000 people in 4 regional countries, killing over 10,000 of them. A fresh cholera outbreak has been cited by some people seeking renewed intervention in Haiti, but Youssef said that the result is a result of the UN being in Haiti after the earthquake. In related Haiti news, U.S. Senator Ed Markey and 15 colleagues, including progressives Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, this week urged the Biden administration to immediately extend and redesignate temporary protected status TPS for Haiti, a move that will allow Haitians currently in the United States to remain in the country until conditions improve in their homeland. So, actually,
how about ask them not to invade?
Right.
How about
that?
Sending them aid instead of, where are we sending all that aid to? Like, how about anything?
How about leaving Haiti alone? Have the people elect who they want to elect.
That's like, president. Please don't deport Haitians. That's okay. Like, that's what they're going to go with.
Right.
Jesus
Haiti's
Christ.
current TPS status is set to expire in February 2023. The Biden administration has supported tens of thousands of Haitian asylum seekers. You remember, I'm sure in the spring, there were pictures on Twitter of, immigrants getting whipped on horseback by, the U.S. Yeah. So remember that, because this is a result of this. Many of whom report human rights abuses by U.S. immigration authorities, despite the grave humanitarian situation.
There you go.
Situation in the country. Thank you, Reef.
You're welcome.
All right. So there we go. This is why people are saying, get your mitts off of Haiti. So hopefully we educated you guys a little bit in light of, what's happening in Haiti right now, and how you guys can help spread more noise about this, especially for our Haitian brothers and sisters who might be watching. But I say all of that in terms of, this, I think it's probably just as well in what is happening with Breonna Joy Gray, because she said this like in her, in her most recent podcast on Bad Faith, and she's getting smeared for it right now. Like the idea of like, we're sending all these billions of dollars to Ukraine, and I forgot the guy and I don't care about him, but he was basically like, think of the Ukrainian children, whatever, to justify the idea that we're sending money for war to Ukraine. And basically the argument that Bree is saying, whether or not you agree or not with Ukraine, that's fine, whatever. But like, let's be consistent here. Like, if you're going to give money to Ukraine in supporting them, how come we're not giving the same kind of, care? And I'm not saying we should have we should step in anywhere near Haiti at all, but like, there's no talk of like giving money to Haiti in helping to restore, the nation, in helping to, get our backed politicians out of there and have the people elect who they want to govern them. They already had Aristide, and they were perfectly happy with him, and then the US was like, fuck no, we actually need, we actually want to steal more of your resources. And I'm not sure what they got at this point. The country has been raped and pillaged, for over 200 years. So I can't imagine what they continue to go back for, to be quite honest. But as I said, I feel this is kind of like the perpetual punishment that Haitians are suffering, because they actually fought against the West and won. And the West is like, we will never that will never let you happen again. And you will pay for that dearly, basically for the rest of your days, basically. So, but that's what Brianna was saying, in terms of like, if we're going to have that kind of support for Ukraine, why not have that support for Haiti? Why not have that support for Yemen? Why not have that support for Somalia? Why don't we have that support for Syria? So, but the US is going in there in the guise of stability, due to gangs that I'm sure are propped up by the US government, in the guise of like, oh, we need to go in there to help destabilize it. And they're doing more of the shit that they, and in the article and what the clips have said, from the past.
Oh, that whole US involvement in Haiti previously is fucking wild, let alone now. I mean, it reminds me of like with all the charity stuff and gang stuff, like, the white hats, that kind of thing, like the way US intelligence operates in the rest of the world is
right. And actually,
ridiculous.
You just brought up a good thought. Like, I've seen, not so much now, but I remember when I was younger, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this on TV, like Save the Children and all this kind of stuff. Like, you see a lot of those commercials where they show kids with descended bellies and like flies on them, and they say, support this child for like $10 like a month or something like that to ensure that they get fed and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, like as a kid / teenager, I thought that was like so cool. And I actually tried to convince my mom to actually do something like that. But I think now as I've gotten older, and I think especially being in this space, it's like, that's such a half measure. That's not going to help the people. We don't want them to be dependent on us. And being in Africa, that's what, my mentor Ronnie has said. They don't want to be dependent on the West to help them. They want to be able to thrive on their own, without the West's influence or infiltration in these countries in the guise of humanitarian aid, or we're doing this out of the kindness of our hearts because we have money and we want to help you and we want to support you. No, like, and again, kind of similar, if you're in the socialist way of thinking, help workers seize the means of production. So in this case, help people be able to run their countries in a way that is very fitting and appropriate given the culture and the society of the countries that are involved. And I think, honestly, on the left, we need to be talking a lot more about this. And I'm sure we're going to talk about this more with Lula in a bit.
Yes, we definitely will be.
But focus those conversations on that. Like, how can we support what's happening in Haiti so that there's no U.S. interference, that the people are free, truly, to elect who they want to elect? And not to say they may not need resources, but give them the means that they're able to do that independently. That's what the things that we should be talking about.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think specifically, like, it's the world policing that is still frustrating as shit. That we still think that we get to dictate what the rest of the world gets to do.
Right, and we're not doing it here. That's the thing. It's like, we can't even take care of our people. It'd be one thing if we're doing good things here, Fine.
Well, it
help
leads
other
us-
countries, but we don't even have our shit together here.